So my Wonder of the Wade is C.S. Lewis's copies of Edith Nesbit's books. So this is one of the first things, along with The Wind in the Willows, that actually connected me to Lewis as a fan. Like most children, I grew up reading the Chronicles of Narnia, watching the BBC version of the movies, but it was actually the Space Trilogy, oddly enough, that connected me to Lewis as an adult, that I started to really enjoy and become interested in Lewis and his theology. And that's where my research is currently focused. But then somewhere between the Chronicles of Narnia and the Ransom Trilogy, I became aware of, and this is what really gave me a love for Lewis, his love for children's literature and reading children's literature as an adult. So I used to meet in seminary with a group of MDiv students who really enjoyed the Ransom Trilogy, and in that time, not many people read it or enjoyed it. And it was one of my friends in that group that introduced me to Lewis's quote, which is currently in Of Other Worlds, in his essay that he wrote on 3 ways of writing for children. And what Lewis says was, and this was so profound to me because it was sort of, I didn't really know other people who enjoyed reading children's literature as an adult. And he says, okay, so Lewis, what I love particularly is this quote that Lewis says, "When I was 10, I read fairy tales in secret and would have been ashamed if I had been found doing so. Now that I am 50, I read them openly. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up." And what I love about this essay is that Lewis is very much talking about the importance of reading as a child and how reading these fairy tales, these stories by authors like Kenneth Grahame with The Wind in the Willows and Edith Nesbit with particularly the Would-Be-Goods, the story of the Would-Be-Goods, which is here, which features the Bastable children, and he talks about that a lot in his essay on 3 ways of writing for children, is the importance of reading these stories for children, because what it does developmentally for them is helps to bring them from that concrete thinking to the more abstract thinking, and begins to open up their eyes and awareness of the numinous. So, for example, in The Wind in the Willows, the portion in the story where Ratty and Molly experience Pan for the first time, and the distinction between fear and awe, and helping children understand the difference between fear and awe. And so, again, theologically, then children are able to start understanding those concepts and the importance too, which is part of the work that I'm doing, is helping children and students grow theologically, partly through the development that they experience in reading children's literature. Lewis loved, and he talks about too in this essay, that he actually was not introduced to either The Wind in the Willows or Edith Nesbit until he was an adult. So he actually did not start reading them until adulthood, but that is when he really fell in love with these stories. Particularly, again, the Would-Be-Goods, and the items that we have here at the Wade, which I was so excited when I found out that we did actually, because we do have over 2,400 individual volumes from his personal library, finding out that these are C.S. Lewis's Edith Nesbit books that he owned, that he opened and read and notated, which is just incredible, this little piece of history that we have here. So we have The Would-Be-Goods by Edith Nesbit, which he very much talks about on 3 ways of writing for children. We also have this really beautiful copy of The Magic City, which is just spectacular with the gold foil on the front, and then also The Book of Dragons, which she wrote as well. So these are really beautiful copies that we have that Lewis read of Edith Nesbit's works. So these are my, I was able to look through these and enjoy these myself, and enjoy the fact that Lewis so loved and appreciated not only children's stories, but how they can be read and enjoyed by children to help them grow, not only in their development as people, but also in their development theologically.